funny.
So, what would you want your story to be about tonight?
About hmm, about a bunny that made a home to make a dance party. And they had so much fun that they even had pizza.
Hmm. 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 Ah, this is the story about Fluffy the bunny. Fluffy the bunny made a tremendous, tremendous discovery. He found a tiny hole behind the building that if you crawled in the right place and went in the right directions, you ended up in the kitchen of a pizzeria. Ah, Fluffy the bunny was ecstatic, so happy. He went there most nights, and when nobody was watching, he would nibble a bite out of as many pizzas as he could, and nobody would ever notice. But Fluffy the bunny thought that this was such a lonely endeavor and that he wanted to share it with most of his friends. And so he made an awesome place in the walls, hidden from all the humans and from the pizzeria. And he cleaned it up real nice in order to turn it into a dance place. And then he invited every one of his friends from the forest. And they all came and all started dancing and dancing. And when anybody wanted pizza, because they had pizza there, Fluffy would sneak out and show them the way so that they could get into the pizzeria and steal some pizza and then come back to the party. And it was the most awesome party ever. But something terrible happened. One of Fluffy's friend, it was a tiny squirrel named Tiny, um, went out to get pizza. And Tiny was known for not being so tiny, in fact. I mean, it was still a squirrel. That's why I say it was tiny. But it was quite fat for a squirrel. Tiny loved food, that's for sure. And Fluffy told everyone at the party to only take a nibble out of any pizza and then come back inside so that they wouldn't be seen. But Tiny couldn't resist himself. He thought the pizza was so awesome. So he figured the best way to prevent uh, being seen was to hide inside of a pizza box with a pizza, and then he could eat as much as he wanted. It seemed like a great idea at first, but then something terrible happened. A client showed up and said, "Oh, hi, I'm Bob. I bought that pizza on the internet. I'm just here to pick it up." "Oh, hi, Bob," said the person behind the counter. "Thank you for buying our pizza," and took the pizza out of the shelf and gave it to Bob. And guess what?
What?
Tiny was inside. Everything started shaking. Tiny didn't know what was going on. Tiny heard voices, movement. He peeked a little eye outside the pizza box and noticed that he was getting out. He couldn't warn anybody. He ended up in the back of a car at who knows what direction. When everybody noticed that Tiny was missing, they launched a search party. They had 2 pigeons, a bunny, 5 rats, and another squirrel, and they all started searching everywhere. The pigeons were the smartest, so they realized what was going on. Uh, but it was the mice that smell where Tiny had been going, and they realized that he was in that car. And so the pigeons, with super speed, because they are the only ones that could fly, started flying over the car to chase after him and make sure they wouldn't lose sight of him. They were Tiny's only hope, because nobody else could catch up with the car except for a bird. And this car was going so fast and so far that the pigeons almost lost them, but they were able to get there. And when they saw the person get off the car, they saw the pizza box, and they saw a little tiny head of Tiny peeking out of the pizza box. The human hadn't noticed. One of the birds swooped in and stole the person that was carrying the pizza's hat. And the person was so startled that it looked up, and the other bird swooped in on the other side and poked him in the cheek. And the person was so scared that he dropped the pizza, and Tiny took off running. And the birds met up with Tiny, and Tiny was so scared. He was like, and then I was eating, and then, and the birds were like, calm down, Tiny, you're fine. I almost, the box moving, and a human, calm down, Tiny. And then the human picked up the box and said, wow, crazy birds, and went inside to eat its pizza. And its pizza was missing like a quarter of the whole pizza. Tiny had been eating all the time. Even when he was scared, he never stopped eating. Because Tiny's crazy. Anyways, the story ends when Tiny calmed down and the bird showed him back the way back to the pizza place. And Tiny never ever took another bite, more than one bite out of the pizza. And they kept going to parties every weekend in the dance place that the Fluffy the Bunny created, next to the pizza place. And by the way, nobody ever found out that most of the pizzas out of that place were missing one or two little bites. The end.
Good night, Bucky. Best story ever.
Thank you, Pequeño. Good night.